Hi, I'm Rod Saunders from Jew and Greek, where we discuss theology and apologetics from a charismatic perspective. Well, shortly after the story broke on Robert Morris, Justin Peters did a video with his friend Steve LeBlanc, a Reformed pastor who worked for Robert Morris's church before his conversion to Calvinism. Justin says that Steve is one of the good guys.
Steve has become a good friend of mine. I have a great deal of respect and love for Steve. He is definitely one of the good guys.
But wait a minute. Nobody is good but God. Justin has emphatically told us that.
100% of people are bad people. You're a bad person. I'm a bad person. Now, most people think of themselves as good because what we like to do, we like to compare ourselves to other people. But friends, God does not evaluate our goodness by comparing us to other people. He evaluates our goodness by comparing us to Himself. And none of us, compared to the goodness of God, the moral perfection of God, are good people. We are all bad people.
So is Justin denying the doctrine of original sin? Well, no. He's not making a theological observation about his friend. He's just saying that he agrees with Steve's theology and he considers Steve to be a faithful minister of the gospel. So it's okay for Justin to say things like that. But of course, charismatics aren't allowed to use the word good in a non-theological way. If a charismatic says that Joe Blow is a good guy, they're a heretic because they reject original sin. Shortly after that interview, Justin brought Steve back to issue an apology to James Robison.
I made a quote, something to the effect of, I know for a fact that James Robison was at that meeting. That sounds like, I have not even gone back and checked it.
Okay.
And that statement was wrong. That's not true. James Robison was not at that meeting between Cindy, her father, and Robert Morris. Now, somebody might have been, but he wasn't. He was not there. That's a fact. How do I know this? I know this because Cindy said he wasn't there. And if Cindy said he wasn't there, he wasn't there.
Right.
And so that detail, I want to apologize for to James. James, I apologize.
So Steve said that he knew for a fact that James Robison was there, but in fact, he didn't know for a fact. So he was lying, wasn't he? He said he knew it for a fact, but he didn't. But now he's just saying that he was wrong. Now, if I were to employ the same tactics as the discernment crowd, I would be calling upon Steve to repent and admit that he was lying. But you know what? People get things wrong sometimes. We're all human. We have flawed memories. We misunderstand what people are saying sometimes. So even though he said that he knew it for a fact when he didn't, I accept the fact that he didn't mean to mislead people. And kudos to him for apologizing to James Robison. That shows character. Now let me show you this clip from a recent Patrick Hines video.
Tongues are real languages. And I knew for a fact that nothing I had ever heard in charismatic circles or at the Vineyard or at that Pentecostal church or at the Charismatic United Methodist Church, I knew none of that was really from God.
Sometimes when people say, I know for a fact, what they really mean is that they're totally convinced based on the information they have, totally disregarding the fact that that information might be wrong. Again, people sometimes say, I know for a fact, when what they really mean is, I'm 100% convinced based on the information that I have. So they don't necessarily know for a fact. It's just a figure of speech. You can only know something for a fact if you were there and were an eyewitness, and even then, you might not be remembering it correctly. Hillary Clinton said that she landed in Bosnia under sniper fire in 1996, when a news video showed otherwise. Brian Williams from NBC said that his Chinook helicopter was taking on fire in Iraq and he had to make an emergency landing, but soldiers who rode with him disputed his story. They were both accused of lying, but there is something known as false memory, where the memory neurons in the brain interact with neurons that experience other stimuli from our egos, our belief system, and other experiences to create memories that aren't factual. This could explain why Benny Hinn had a false memory about his teaching on the 9-member Godhead over 30 years ago. I've experienced things like this myself. I was watching the World Series when the San Francisco earthquake interrupted it back in 1989. I told a friend about it, and later, as we were watching the news about it, the video told a completely different story from how I told it. I felt like an idiot. Memories are unreliable. Humans are flawed. We all need grace and understanding, and we all need to be willing to extend grace and understanding. Jesus said to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. How much do you want others to overlook your faults? Well, maybe you should take the initiative in overlooking theirs. A little food for thought. Thanks for watching, and be blessed.